You're watching Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Okay, we're back. Our guest is Jeff Harris. He is the general manager for one of the largest dealerships in the region, Bob King Auto Mall, and we're talking about Car Biz, the survival of the fittest. When we went to break, we were talking about the reality that there is no domestic versus foreign-made automobiles anymore, vehicles. They're all sort of a hybrid of all of it. But we have a situation here in America. It's called the United Auto Workers. And what part does that unionization play in all of what we've been talking about?
That plays a big part. It is hard to build and be profitable a vehicle in the United States when you pay out the wages they are asking for to build these cars. And it's hard to compete globally when you are considering what it cost us to build one.
So how does America stay price competitive when there's such a huge benefit, wage, differential as compared to other countries, what they pay workers?
I don't think you do until you get rid of the problem, and that's the union.
But there is a GM product that's comparable to foreign products in price. So how do they do that?
Well, they're comparable in price, but with the margin, there's not enough margin when you get right down to...
You're talking profit margin.
That's correct.
So now we're looking at one of the reasons these giants, the big three, are struggling.
That's right. That's right.
It's because of with other factors, but because they can't stay competitive.
That's right.
And one of the issues about bankruptcy is they can void these contracts and maybe start on a fresh playing field.
That's right.
Do you think that's a good idea?
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah?
I do.
Think it's going to happen?
I do. I do. I think there's certain things that might change that here in the future. In the next month or so, we'll know more. But at this point in time, I do. But I think it would be the best thing. And
well, they have to come up with a plan by June.
That's right.
The Treasury Department has demanded that they come up with a bankruptcy plan by June.
That's right.
So you think it's going to happen?
I don't think that they can come up with a plan that's going to make them profitable and come out of this without going through some kind of restructure.
And your prediction is 4 core brands, a couple of small niche brands.
That's right.
And several models off of those core brands.
That's right.
And that will downsize General Motors significantly.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
What about tariffs? And for those of you, we're talking about money that is put on imports to level the playing field. You have any feelings about that?
Well, I do. In the 80s, they had a chance to put some tariffs on the foreign cars coming into the American market, and chose not to put what the American car makers wanted.
Is that a wise choice?
Well,
we could start a global war, or not a...
Yeah, I think it should be free marketplace across the board. Also, with that said, I think we shouldn't have to pay the tariffs when Buick is one of the #1 brands overseas, and we should have less tariff when we sell our product over there also.
So there are tariffs on American products?
There are.
Which changes the playing field to the global market.
That's right.
I'm curious, do you think Chrysler will survive?
I don't know. I don't know that much about where they sit. I think that one of the big things that needs to happen there is a merger, and I think it's in the works.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think Ford, although it's not it's not doing what it used to do, but it seems to be in better shape than the other two of the big three. Why is that?
Well, Ford got a loan before money was hard to get. A year or so ago, you could get some private funding, and they sold off some assets, and
but they downsized early, didn't
that's
they?
correct, and they beat the crunch, and that's where they did not have to ask the government for any money.
Do you think that GM and maybe Chrysler, although Chrysler's not really in the same place as GM as far as size and influence, do you think GM was not responsive to the times and what the public wanted?
I think you could say that they might have missed a couple of things when it was happening. I think for the most part they are a leader in the industry, and they're not going away.
What's the future of the electric car?
That is a very good question. We have 3 out of GM's line that have that. We have the Yukon Denali, which just came out, and we also have the Sierra pickup truck, which is a hybrid.
Are they selling?
They are selling.
They are.
Yes.
Are you seeing an increased demand for?
Yes, yes.
So do you think the future could be there?
I think it could be partly there. I don't know that that's going to be the way they're going to end up going. I think there's a whole lot of different things on the table that they're experimenting with.
What about T. Boone Pickens' idea of wanting to use, what is it, natural gas as a fuel? You think that'll fly at all?
I don't know. I think it's a viable thing to look at. I think we all need to pull ourselves together and look at all the options that are out there.
A lot of changes going on.
A lot of changes going on.
It's going to be interesting to watch.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I want to thank our guest today, Jeff Harris, who is the GM, the General Manager of Bob King Auto Mall, for joining us on this edition of Byline Wilmington. If you want to catch Byline online, go to WILM-TV.com. Once you get there, just click on the Byline Wilmington icon. That's WILM-TV.com. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Byline. I'm Don Ansell. Have a great week.
You've been watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning at 11 as we explore the issues that concern you.